Shalom, Ka'ala Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kodash, double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, mercy to the elect, who are the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Asherala, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who before losing their true heritage were known as and still are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. Today we're going to talk about the coming inflation which Babylon the Great, known as America today, will soon be going through. But let's go and read this first. This is Romans 13 and 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. So you see, what's happening now is that America is on the verge of hyperinflation. But let's go and read this article that talks about how this guy Michael Berry, and it tells you in the title, says Michael Berry warns Weimar hyperinflation is coming. Let's go and skip all this fluff and get right down to the part here where he talks about what he says. Now this guy here, Michael Berry, he's famous for that movie what is it called, The Big Short, where he was the guy who single-handedly found out that all these housing loans were bunch of bullshit, and he called the housing collapse way before it actually happened, and he knew about it so adamantly that he made millions of dollars betting against all the going knowledge at that time. He's also recently made lots of money off of this whole GameStop thing, because he's seen how these companies were going to get caught shorting other companies. Basically, he's an investment genius. Now, recently he's come out and basically said that America is going to, for the most part, go into hyperinflation, and that he's warning people. It tells you here, it says, this is his Twitter account, Cassandra. It says, the U.S. government is inviting inflation with its MMT-tinged policies, risks debt, GDP, M2 increases, while retail sales, PMI stage V recovery or fifth recovery, trillions more stimulus, and reopening to boost demand as employee and supply chains costs skyrocket. And pretty much he shows his proof that basically America is in for trouble. Now I'm gonna go and skip all this, because right here this is kind of like a synopsis of what happened in the Weimar Republic. Now real quick, let's go ahead and talk about the Weimar Republic, because you Akim need to understand what this place was, because pretty soon this is what's going to be happening to America. The Weimar Republic was what Germany was called before the Nazis took over. Now after World War I, Germany was in a bad position, and let's go ahead and read this article real quick that I have on it. Hyperinflation in Weimar Republic. It says hyperinflation affected the German paper mark, the currency of the Weimar Republic, between 1921 and 1923. Primarily in 1923, it caused considerable internal political instability in the country, the occupation of the Ruhr by France and Belgium, as well as misery for the general populace. Basically, it's what happened is Germany spent like crazy. They did exactly what America's doing now. The rich got richer. They basically all got into the stock market. People were basically just getting into speculative market, kind of like how people are today with the housing market, the stock market, all the crap and gimmicks that people use to get rich here. This is what happened in Weimar Republic, or so-called Germany, back in the days. But what happened is that these Amalekite, Edomite devils at the top, the banks, pretty much called in the debts, and it basically created hyperinflation, so much so that you see the stack here of paper. Well, this is what you would need to basically buy a loaf of bread. And that picture that you've seen in this image here is synonymous with the Weimar Republic, that people were literally taking around barrel or cart fulls of money, wheelbarrow full of money to buy what they needed. And there's other stories that talk about how people that were working at the factories, that their children were waiting at the door when they would get paid, so that way the fathers could give the children their paycheck to run down to the city to buy the groceries needed to survive, because by the time that the children, from the time that the workers got paid in the factory to the time that the children would run down to the markets to buy the things, that the pay had lost value. So that's how bad things are going to get here, Akim. Let's go and read this. This is 2 Ezra 6:22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be empty. Now, when it tells you here about the sown places, this is ultimately talking about these farms and all the places that America gets its food from, right? This is why you're seeing a shutting down, a systematic shutting down, let me correct that, of these farms, the cooling or killing off of all these animals. You've had chickens, pigs being slaughtered, and pretty much what's happening, Akim, is that they are turning off this farm, right? America is a farm, a tax farm that these elites, these Edomites at the top, make their money off of. Now, that being said, they don't need you anymore. In fact, they are going to try to kill you off. So what they're doing is they are now going to turn up the heat, and they are going to start starving out a lot of people. This is how the biblical famine is going to start. Now, back to that article, because one thing I want to talk about is the solution. Let's go, here it goes, stabilizing, here we go. Okay, so here you go, stabilization. So when America goes through this hyperinflation, things are going to get bad. People aren't going to be able to buy food, and pretty much the only people who are going to be able to eat are going to be the ones who know people, farmers, or they're going to be the people who are going to be growing their own food. That being said, let's go and find out how Germany, or the Weimar Republic, solved their hyperinflation problem. And then you're going to, hopefully you'll see what's going to happen here. It says, the hyperinflation crisis led prominent economists and politicians to seek the means to stabilize German currency. In August 1923, an economist, Karl Heckreich, proposed a plan to issue a new currency. Okay, and that is about all you need to hear. Now, if you've recently been hearing about Bitcoin going up like crazy, and also Tesla buying $1.5 million or $150 million worth of Bitcoin, it's because these corporations, they understand what's going on. They're told what's going to happen. This is exactly why you had all these cocksucking politicians invest in all these medical companies and stock market companies and made millions of dollars off of the COVID crisis, because they are told what's going to happen before it happens. Okay, now that being said, you know, all of these things that you're seeing going on right now, people making all this money by, you know, buying in Bitcoin and all that stuff, that's just a side effect of what's actually happening. People are fleeing out of the dollar, and just like I read right now, that for Weimar Republic, the solution was to bring in a new currency. So you see, Akim, Babylon the Great is now going to shut off the old dollar, and the new dollar system, currency system that they're going to initiate here, probably in about a year or 2 years, if we even get there, is going to be the digital dollar, and it's already been in the works. Let's go and read this. It says, U.S. moves closer to a digital dollar. And again, we're going to go ahead and skip all this bullshit fluff, and let's go down to the part that makes sense. Here it goes. Right here, it says, most recently, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, which, by the way, this bitch here gets pushed as some sort of savior, some minority savior, but ultimately she's just one of these globalist puppets who are pushing forward the agenda. Now let's read it. Let's continue. And Pramila Jayapal, Democrat from Washington, introduced new stimulus proposals of $2,000 per month to residents. Now that sounds amazing, right, Akim? You're going to get $2,000 a month. This ultimately is what the world refers to as the Universal Basic Income, the UBI. This is how people are going to get paid during this process, okay? $2,000 per month to residents through the Automatic Boost to Communities Act, the ABC Act. Now, here's the point. Under the ABC Act, Congress would authorize the Federal Reserve to create Fed accounts or digital dollar account wallets, which would allow U.S. residents and business to access financial services through an app on their phone. There you go, Akim. This is the new digital dollar. In the past, this was called the Amero. Also, this is what's going to ultimately lead to all payments being digitalized, right? And at first, like they say, it's going to be on people's phones, but what is this going to lead to? We're not stupid. We see Satan's plans, right? It's going to lead to this. Like Apostle Tahar said, Revelations 13:16 is here. We're telling you that this is it, Akim. You know, you are seeing family members, friends, and acquaintances falling for these lies, and they're getting these vaccines, and they're all happy about it. Pretty soon, they're going to be happy that they're going to get these chips, and they're going to be able to spend their money, right? But understand that this is damnation. This is ultimately death, like the Bible says. A man, what it says, the way to a man, or the way of a man seemeth right to him, but those ways are to lead to death. That's what these people are ultimately leading themselves to. Let's read this, because this is ultimately where this digital currency, which these devils are going to introduce to, and that's going to be to facilitate this prophecy, which is soon to come to pass. This is Revelations 13:16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. That's 666. So you see that, Akim? All of these twists and turns are ultimately going to lead to the mark of the beast. But to get there, these devils are going to put you through hell, and they're going to cause considerable pain upon the populace of Babylon the Great, right? So like it tells you, man, it's time to wake up, Akim. It's high time to wake up. What does this mean? This means that you need to start gathering the things to survive. Okay, what is that? So what I mean by that, I'm not saying that, you know, you need to start stockpiling food to survive Armageddon. No, you need to start gathering things for a rough economy. Okay, because again, if you have not been chosen because you're wavering in this truth, you don't believe in it, you think that you're going to save yourself by stockpiling all this food, you're wrong. But what you need to do, right, is that you need to first turn to the Lord completely. Okay, you need to pray every day, and second, you need to prepare in a manner that the Lord, puts on your soul, right? What does this mean? A good way to think about it is look at what happened in Texas. Okay, you need to get enough water. People need 1 gallon per day for drinking, washing teeth, flushing the toilet, all that stuff. Okay, 1 gallon a day, people. You go to Walmart, you get 6 gallon cans in the camping aisle for $14.47. Okay, six gallons, that's 6 days. Get 2 of those, will be good for 2 weeks. Also, buy food that'll last you, that you'll be able to use in times of hardship, right? Stuff that you could easily eat, macaroni, things like that. But either way, Akim, I just wanted to show you that we are soon coming across hyperinflation, which will eventually lead to the mark of the beast. So with all that, I want to give praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yashai, Bashem Ruach HaKodesh, the Lord is my teachers, the apostles and elders, great millstone, peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.